all that noise is for. What are you doing? I don't know what the fuck that noise is. Okay. All right, so I've made some videos over the last few days, actually all week long. And the other phone that I have in my pocket, that I don't have turned on right now, is the one that I've been mostly losing videos. And very strangely, as usual, when this does happen, it does happen kind of strange, because some videos, starting about 5 days ago, I had made 3 videos in the same area, because I came down here. I believe someone might have been tracking me, and this has been going on for a couple of weeks, the tracking. So once I noticed them tracking me, I usually try to see how frequent it is, who it is, what the car they're driving, that kind of thing, where they're hiding out to spy on me and that kind of shit. Are they following only me, or are they following and tracking my family as well, and all that kind of shit, right? So, I'm ready to start this auditing series. I just found 2 more auditors that I really like a lot too. CT3. CT3 is really cool. He's a nice guy, knows his shit. Really cool auditor. And he brings all the auditors into it, kind of like Audit the Audit does. So I like that also about him. But he seems to know more about the laws than the average person does, and or at least about our Constitution, for that matter. So I may end up changing the title of the series. I'm able to get back on the Michael Oziak channel, and I'm going to upload a few videos on the Michael Oziak channel, but really, because they already got me under a strike, I can't afford to take any chances and post any videos on the Michael Oziak channel, because they're going to give me another strike, and then I'll be out of that channel for 90 days, the same way that I'm out of the Miguel Everyone for 90 days. So I'm all by myself over, if anybody comes to these videos on the Michael Oziak channel. I no longer can go on the Miguel Everyone channel. So I've been forced out of those 2. So I'm over onto the Right to Reality, RIGHT space TO space REALITY, Right to Reality. And it's hard to find because when you punch in that Right to Reality, when you punch it in the computer on YouTube, it doesn't even come up. You can go many, many pages and the Right to Reality doesn't come up. What you may end up finding, if you get lucky, is I don't know why this is, other than YouTube suppressing my videos, but you might find a video that I did. So you have to look a little harder, and then it'll say Right to Reality, and the symbol up in the top is a photograph of the moon. All right, so anyways, I was down here, right, and parked right here. When I came down, because I saw the car come in on camera, and I thought I might have recognized the car, because for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks or something, it's been that white Jeep. And I don't know what type of Jeep, whether it's a Cherokee or whatever, but it's that kind of Jeep, the SUV type of Jeep. And I recognized the Jeep symbol on the front of it when it was coming in. So, and there's a million of these white Jeeps out there, so I'm not going to assume that everyone that drives by me is an agent that's tracking me. But when they do weird shit, like go around the block several times for no reason, and I see them on the cameras, because I can see them on the cameras from not only the house, from pretty much any house that I'm staying at, because all the houses that are around the houses I'm staying at, even if the house I'm in doesn't have cameras, then their neighbor is somebody that I know, right? So it's pretty easy. And I want to point this out because I'm watching the auditors, and the auditors are you know, they're real big on the cameras, and what they're doing is they're tricking. What's going to happen is everyone has to wear a camera now. It's just that they don't want them like this out in the open. They want them like this, right here. See, I don't know if you can see this, but see this? That's my little camera holder. They want body cams like that are secretive, so that they definitely want to be on camera. Everybody wants to be on camera. The bad police want to be on camera. The good police don't. That part's kind of weird. That part's strange because what's happening is the good cops are not able to say anything because they're outnumbered, way outnumbered. And it's not just cops, it's all law enforcement, it's all politicians, it's all politics, and it's everywhere. So, anyways, this white Jeep, there was one with a, I'll try to guess the years, but it's only a guess. So last year I had these Jeeps on my ass. Once I started calling them out and posting these videos on YouTube, then they started sending different vehicles, different faces. Every time I got their face and a vehicle on camera, they would send a different one. So what I want to talk about during my series, number one, I want to show everybody, I'm going to also do my usual thing. I'm showing everybody the true creator. They're not going to try distracting me. They're going to try, but they're not going to do it. They're trying to distract me from showing you the true creator, the false creator / creator. That's what they're trying to do. They'll use any methods. Usually the biggest one is convincing you all that it's your imagination, because I did a video, same one that I was talking about, the day, it was the second or third day of this Jeep that was here. That video got deleted on me before I even got back to the house to upload it. It was already gone, which was fucky. And then what happened was the second video was not gone. So during the first time that I came down and looked at this Jeep and it got it on camera, and I got the lady on camera too, but not, uh, it was useless because she was wearing a hat. She was wearing big fucking FBI sunglasses. She was wearing really big dark sunglasses that covered most of her face. She had a scarf on like I do now, that kind of thing, right? There was no official anything on her car, her jacket, anything like that. But here she sat and she was watching me walk up on that upper trail and walk the upper trail. So I came down this way and came down the path this way and kept an eye on her for a little while. She was doing nothing, but I did get to look around in her car and eliminate possibilities of who she might be. Um, like she could have been a trapper, she could have been a fisherman. She could, right? She could have been down here fishing at the stream. She could have been a hunter. She could have been somebody to do with a city or town official, right? Or she could have been someone like that was doing something on the side. She could have been with the telephone company, right? So I eliminated all those things. So who she actually was, I don't know. Her tailgate was up, and I couldn't come down this way without, throwing her into suspicion. But I should have continued down. But what I did was I stayed over there and with my camera because I wanted to keep behind the trees to see what she was going to be up to. So by the time I came down that way to come and look and see what she was up to, then she already had the back door up. And I didn't want to, I don't want to bug anybody if she's somebody innocent. She's not somebody who is tracking me and she was just here doing something. But that gave me the opportunity to look around and see in her car and see what she was actually up to. So, anyways, that video got deleted. But the second and third video that was on there were still there. They were not nearly as informative as the first video, because the first video I also coincidentally ran into another, there was a family. It was a woman and her kids, and they were walking on the trail and they were doing some work over there, and I got to talk to them on camera about, she's like, what are you looking at? I had the camera faced in a rock or a stone. It's up there. I'll get it again today. But it just sucks because I keep doing the same video over and over again. And I think this is going to be the fifth time. And it's just an introductory video, But coincidentally, just coincidence, I can't claim anything other because they don't allow you to. They call you conspiracy nut. But coincidentally, it's every time that I get a vehicle or a face on my camera that my video gets deleted. Also strange that some videos get deleted and others don't. So that's not a SIM card failure. That's something else fucking weird that happens. And last year it was happening a lot. So as I'm going into this series to the auditors, I'm going to be calling out the auditors. I'm going to bring up my situation and I'm going to let them know. I'm going to call them out, seriously call them out, because I mean, there's a lot of shit that they're just not fucking thinking about. And they're thinking that they're making great gains with with the cameras and everything like that. And it's not the gains that we think it is, people. It's not. I mean, but think about what we're pushing everybody into, right? We're pushing everybody into wearing cameras themselves if they want to get any kind of respect from any government officials, right? Any government official, anybody, whether it's a hospital, you go into the hospitals, and they make you do mandatory things that you don't want to do, that we can't even talk about, but yet we have First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, my ass. Because if you talk about the Lion Mama Kona 19, even your own personal experiences, which I had done that, and they delete my videos and my channel gets shut down. So it's not just the police officers, it's us. It's all of us. We're all fucking doing this shit to each other. It's ridiculous. So all through the Lion Mama Kona 19, how many couples have separated? I can tell you one right here. I can tell you one that me and my wife are going at it for years now, because I got to see the tyrannic shit that they did, and there's no denying it anymore. So my accusations of everything turning tyrannic over the last 15, 20 years, what I'm seeing around me, then to me, once we went through the Lion Mama Conan 19 shit and it was all proven one thing after another that it was all lies, then how could they deny me anymore? How could they deny me that what I'm showing you is real? What they're showing you is bullshit. And the lady that was on the trail, right now we're looking at a tree. I'm going to put a red filter on while I'm talking. A digital collection of electromagnetic nanocarbon from the area we call this tree. So the woman that I was talking to made an accusation, and I've been kind of stealing personalities. That dude, Sean, from Long Island Audit, I've been stealing his personality, and I like it. His persona, whatever you want to call it. I'm a lot cooler about things than I was before. So, anyways, the lady pissed me off because I was showing her feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. Um, Look for the triangular builders and all this kind of stuff, and I'm explaining it. I didn't bring any religion in. I didn't say anything about a creator, because I know how people are. They get panicky when you say anything that goes against their religions. I didn't say anything non-political, nothing. But anyways, halfway through it, 5-10 minutes into us talking, she says, "Can I see it?" I brought her up just like I'm doing now, except I was on a rock. Here, I'll do a rock. So I bring her up to the stone. This is a stone, by the way, a rock sitting here. And same thing, digital collection of EMNC from this fucking stone. Okay, no human influence. Just getting rid of some of this shit. Okay, digital collection of electric. So what I was doing was I was trying to offer her the camera so she could do what I'm doing right now. This is how you digitally collect. But what she was doing was standing 6 feet behind me to my right and telling me that she doesn't see anything. I'm like, well, you have to look. You have to look. You have to hear. Take the camera. She wouldn't. And I'm like, okay, well, I said, and then she said, well, what you're really looking at then is you're just looking, using your imagination. I said, oh, no. I said, no, it's the opposite of that. That's when she got into a panic. I said, it's opposite of that. I said, you have to forget everything you ever heard, learned, thought, taught, or programmed in order to go look and see things for what they are. Otherwise, you're just going to keep taking all your baggage with you. And she was looking at it just like most people, everybody does, is she looks at it as opposite of that. And then I brought up the potato and the toast. I'm gonna might as well do this tree while I'm standing here. I brought up the potato that looked like the president, or the person who seen Jesus in the toast and it became a famous piece of toast and all that shit, right? So then she said it again. She said, "Oh, well, yeah, using your imagination." I said, "No, that was the trick. That was the trick. They told us that that was the imagination because they put a name on it. They put a name on it. The name was made by humans. So when they said the President Eisenhower's name and put in his face to that potato, it wasn't President. Eisenhower's face to begin with. Just like my face is not Michael Oziak's face. It's the true creator's work. The names, the words we put on these things are human derived. So therefore, and is, you don't get a chance to explain what I'm explaining to you. I didn't get a chance to explain all this to the lady because you could see she was already tensing up and fearing up. So there was no fucking way she was gonna listen. She didn't want her hit kids hearing this shit. I said the builders only build. Builders build accordingly. Up, down, left, right, backward, forward, in and out do not exist in the true creator's work. But I left the true creator part out because I could tell that. Look, put it this way, it's pretty easy to tell people. I mean, people all have an easy tell. She's walking through the forest on a school day with 3 children, right? All different age groups. So what does that tell us? What does that tell us? We know right away about that woman. We know she homeschools her children, right? We know the kids are not at school. It was a school day, right? So that was number one. So looking at the way they were dressed and seeing that they were out doing good deeds, because that's what they were doing. They were cleaning up the trail. And so therefore, I can pull some religion in. Which religion? Well, that's pretty easy to tell too, depending on their clothing, things like that. So I knew not to swear. So I knew not to swear in front of them. Otherwise, I was going to scare them away right away. Because if she would have heard the word hell or shit or bitch or son of a bitch or whatever, right? Then that would have been it. And she would have been off on a fucking tangent, lecturing her children on the way home about my foul mouth. And she never would have said, oh, well, let's go home and let's look at what this guy's talking about. Because I also told her she can download the moon and print up the moon. That's not an option because it seems that most likely from the looks on all their faces, they don't use the technology. Good for her. Good for her that she's not going to do that to her kids. And, I do that to my kids. I try to keep them away from that shit, but it doesn't work because I'm surrounded by 7.8 billion zombie slaves. They're fucking dumb as shit. So anyways, when I'm going through this stuff and I'm trying to show you guys this stuff, it's very difficult. The odds of finding someone on the street even that's going to look is fucking not happening, man. I mean, we're going on 7 years. They will not fucking look, even when they see it. Even when they see it for themselves, and I trick them into seeing it, because that's the only way that I ever get anyone to really see it. But then they look away. They make up excuses about what it is and what it isn't. And lies, all fucking lies. I mean, it's like, you got to argue and debate with everybody over everything. When I was calling out the flat earthers, right? When I was calling out the flat earthers or the heliocentrics, I got to listen to their bullshit stories and argue with them on all sides, right? So I got to argue with the heliocentrics. They think they live on a fucking spinning web parakeet ball flying through the vast of outer space, and they have all this nonsensical shit. Their laws of gravity have nothing to do with what they think it has to do with. It's all garbage. It really is. But of course, you say this to people, oh boy, he's a flat earther. No, I didn't fucking not a flat earther either. I know that the flat earthers are full of shit, so then you got to argue with the flat earthers. And then they come with their bullshit stories, and you're like, wait a minute, man, I'm showing you the fucking system, and you're still claiming that the earth is flat? I mean, come on, this is fucking stupid. If it's, right, I mean, this is the way it goes with everybody. The heliocentrics will lie about the moon. So I got to argue with the geocentrics and the heliocentrics and everybody who thinks they know anything about the moon. That brings in a lot of different people. That brings a lot of different people into the argument. And they're all arguing at me. So I have to have reason, and then they won't listen to my reasons. The same way I'm seeing you auditors is the same way it is with everyone in life. So therefore, if I'm talking to the heliocentrics about the moon, they'll tell me things like, oh yeah, well, we had in 1969, we went to the moon. Wait a minute, whoa. No, you did not. Then all of a sudden they get upset. They get upset that I'm calling them on the moon landing nonsense. And I'm like, wait a minute, you have no evidence that anybody ever went to the moon. The moon is not something you can land on. And I have evidence, and I can show you that you can see for yourself that that's false. Want me to show you? Oh boy, you're one of those. You're one of those what? One of those realists? A person who believes in reality, that fucking lives life based on reality? Yeah, I'm one of those. fucking idiots. So then you got to go back and forth with them. Oh, well, maybe you just don't know and you got to study and research. You don't have any education. No, 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 no. I don't need a fucking education to know that no astronaut, just starting with one piece of the story that's so wrong that can prove that it was a lie, is let's just use the conversation between the president and the astronauts. The astronauts have a huge fucking rocket going off right behind their head, and you and I believed for many years that the president's just having a nonchalant phone call with this guy who's at that point, I think he was 85,000 miles away in 1969. Cell phones today don't even fucking work like that. But yeah, we're told that he had a radio transmission. How's it going up there, fucking moon guys? Oh, we're there. We're almost to the fucking Van Allen belts, sir. Fucking idiots. I mean, so fucking gay. And then they have it on every channel for the last fucking 80 years. And everybody buys into it. It's in every school book, every program that you can think of. And then I'm supposed to fucking go along with it. Fuck you guys, man. So then we go over to, let's say, the geocentrics, the flat earthers, and those guys, right? And I'm trying to think of some of their names. But they were all full of shit too. Everybody, Brother Sanchez, when I called Brother Sanchez out, he was big on the moon. He's a flat earther, but he was also a big moon guy. He just liked the moon. So when I did the series to him, he should have went and looked at what I was fucking showing him. And if he didn't want to go to look, then he has hundreds of thousands of minions that follow his channel. Somebody should have went and looked. Instead, what they did is they fucking ranked me out and said, oh, he's fucking stupid. He don't know. He thinks the fucking earth, he don't even know what it is. You guys, I'm trying to show it to you. I'm trying to show you that you can see it for yourself. And I've been doing a pretty good fucking job of it, but no one will go look. So I got to argue with those guys, right? Then even the artists and the people who are watching the stars. I called out Santos Bonacci, right? So I called out Santos Bonacci. That was a 150-part series or better. That was a good series. Nope, nobody. Nope, nobody. Just this minion coming on telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. No one ever goes and looks. No one ever looks at the reality. No one ever wants to see things for what they are. We always want to bullshit ourselves. Heading over for that rock over there. Are you doing dinner next thing? No, oh, that's right, because I got this other camera. So there's a rock here. I'm going to digitally collect the electromagnetic nanocarbon from this area we call the rock. The big stone boulder, whatever the fuck it is. Give me a second. Just don't want to fall in the water. There we go. Beauteous. Got a red filter on here. Digital collection of electromagnetic nanocarbon from the area we call this rock over there. It's fucking nice, man. I will remaster these videos as I always do. Or I always try to do, I should say, and they don't get deleted. See some whole bunch of rocks and stones and everything that I can go in on. along this riverbank. So I'm going to, throughout the next couple months that I'm doing this series, I'm going to do this series on the Right to Reality channel. I hope that some people will join me over there as I do the series. There's no subscribers over there. I'm probably going to lose the Michael Osiak channel, as I've been saying, and the Miguel Everyone channel I've been saying for a long time, because they're just trying to get the third strike on me. Once they do that, they shut the channel down. What they've done on the medical channels and stuff that I've had, is what they'll do is wait until I get the 3 strikes and then hit me with 2 of them at once. And then they could hit me with the third one if they wanted to, because they don't tell you the reasons. They don't tell you the reason why they're really shutting you down. You know, they make shit up. They'll just create a new rule saying you can't do this anymore, right? Just like the mineral streets. I'm not allowed to talk about the mineral streets anymore, even when I make different terminology to describe them and everything. Still can't get away with it. They put a little disclaimer at the bottom. Condensation trails, and they try to get people over to from condensation trails to chemtrails, because it has the word trails in it. So they try to divert people on the condensation trails as the government rule of thumb, and then for Encyclopedia Britannica to be more exact. And then what they do from there is that'll put in people's mind, oh, it's one of those chemtrail guys. Then half of those people will go over to the chemtrail sites, which are also psyops. They're also psyop channels where they're lying to you and not showing you the truth, not showing you reality. They're just showing you another version of distraction, other than what your normal government distractions might be. So for someone like myself who's really trying to get through to show you guys, I don't want to get into the whole, hey, like me, thumbs me up, and fucking thumb me in my ass so that I get some views so I can make the algorithm. That's not what this is all about. That's not what I'm all about. It should be obvious. This is participant channel. This is a participant channel. This isn't for everyone to just write in their comments to me that I don't know what I'm talking about when you won't even go look. So if you're not going to go look at what it is I'm showing you, I mean, with an open eye, you can't go there and to my channel, look around at the videos that I'm making, and then say to yourself, oh, that's just something that he sees. That's his imagination. No, man. This is fucking everybody. This is for everybody. And don't use your imagination. It's opposite of your imagination. What you've been doing all your life is your imagination. To imagine that you have freedoms under the Constitution of the United States, the same way that people in Russia, that everyone keeps ranking out, the same way that people in Russia and other countries, communist countries, also have constitutions of their rights. All right, they all do. Every fucking country. There's none that don't. For some reason, we think, and if it's not called a constitution, okay, it might be called something else. It might have different names and titles to it, but there are enough people that live in Russia that have freedom. They have internet, right? They have cars. They have all the same fucking shit freedoms that we do. So to say that we have special freedoms that they don't have, bullshit, man. Bullshit. So I really like the auditors. There's quite a few good ones. I'm gonna put together a soundtrack. I've been working on that because I want to make sure that I don't get copyright strikes on any of them or anything like that. But I'm gonna make a soundtrack so that when I start making my research vids, I can put some of their soundtracks behind my videos, and hopefully I won't get shut down. That's another reason why I got to do this on the Right to Reality channel, because anything that I am going to take a chance on cannot be on the Michael Osiak channel. I can only upload on this channel now videos like this, like I'm doing now. Just me walking around, watching my tongue, making sure I don't say anything that might offend somebody, anybody, because then I get shut down. So I'm going to make my way back around this trail and just shoot the shit a little bit more about what I was going through. So these trails that I'm on right now, what I did when they were tracking me last year, they've been tracking me, by the way, I keep saying, for about 13 years. But then all of a sudden last year, I don't know how long, maybe 2 years, I don't know. But I didn't notice it until last year that it had picked up quite a bit. To the point where I had 4 different agencies following me around. And then what would happen is a couple times they almost crashed into me in my car. A couple times they came real close when me and my kids were walking to school and stuff. They came real close to hitting us. So I got nervous about that. And I'm thinking, what kind of fucking scum are going around following my kids like this? And when I started tracking them, they were tracking my kids in order to find me. And sometimes they knew where I was because they'd have somebody else on me. So then therefore they knew where I was. So I lose that trail, that guy or girl, whoever they had on my ass. And then what I would do is go around behind these trails right here that are going all down here and down there. And I'd go through the trails and I'd come out the other side and I'd say, so this guy's on me and the other guy's on my kids. That's what the fuck is going on. So as I was making these videos, there were several things that I noticed. One of them was that my phones all of a sudden started being hit real hard. My camera phones. Videos kept being deleted on me. Sometimes, and very suspiciously, if I was lucky enough to get a video up onto YouTube with their face and that kind of, which there are some, but I mean, I have maybe a dozen. I'd say a dozen on the Michael Oziak channel, and probably like, I don't know, I'll count them as I go. Maybe another 6 or 7 or so on the Miguel Everyone channel, right? So between the 2 channels, I've got that many different cars and faces all related. Sometimes it's just, by the time I get my camera on them, they're like a quarter of a mile away. But I'm already in the camera talking and saying, see that dude in the truck? He was the one that was parked right here. I turned my camera on and he's doing this and he's doing, and then I explain what happens. So I'm going to go over all them videos and I'm going to show you guys what I was going through. Okay. Because it's much, much worse than the auditors are making it out. The auditors are not pointing out the cameras, all the other cameras that are all around us. So when they go into a public place with a camera out in the open and taking photos, sometimes, once in a blue moon, you'll hear one of them say, well, gee, there's a lot of cameras in this building, like Sean does. Sean does point that out. And then sometimes you'll hear people point it out on their on the cop cars and shit like that. That's not it, people. That's still not even half of it. I think the biggest one that everyone misses are the house cameras. We have totally enslaved ourselves, and we did it to ourselves. There's nobody to blame for it except ourselves. We wanted it. We are against anybody filming our children, right? And that's why they make up these rules. They'll make up a rule saying it, and they try to make it all about protecting the children. We got to protect the children. Yeah, we do. So let's really protect the children. Don't fucking play games and say that that's what you want and use that as a way of taking the rights away from people. And they're not constitutional rights. They're just human rights. If you don't have any reason to make up laws, then why are you still making up fucking new laws all the time? You know, come on. So they do this all the time. And my experience over the years is it doesn't matter where your camera's pointed. If they see you with a camera, people get jittery. They no matter what you do. That's why the hidden cameras that are all over, they get ignored. Nobody even pays attention to them. And there's something about this addiction that everyone has to being on camera. That's another thing. Is he coming here or is he going away? I think he's walking away. Okay. collection of electromagnetic nanocarbon from this area we call a rock. So you got a lot of preppers out there and people that sell equipment, prepping equipment and stuff like that. And they're big on the cameras, having home security cameras. But what happens is the same people, and we've known this for a long time, the cable company, the phone company. The phone company, since the start of the phone company, was all about tracking and monitoring the zombie slaves. They call themselves citizens. They call themselves free patriots or whatever the fuck they call them. So they're full of shit. They're full of shit, and they should know that they're full of shit. It needs to be thrown in their face the same way that you're throwing it in the cops' faces. That it's every law enforcement agency, it's every politician. And why? Because it's every citizen. It's everyone. We all fucking been dumbed down so bad. I call it education. That's what they call it. They call their education and look at it as a way of evolving intelligence. These are all really bad terms that everybody thinks are good terms. So every store I go into, every pole that I cross, light pole, has cameras from pole to pole that can see for a mile up. They can zoom in and out as you want to. The same way when I'm doing remastering my videos, I'm doing the same shit. I can zoom in and out of the videos and get a better look at things and put it on pause and get a better look at things. We all can do this. But what happens is because the cable companies and the phone companies and the internet companies are all in on it, then some agencies, including black market agencies, I guess is the best way I can describe it. Because see, law enforcement's not supposed to do anything outside the law. So therefore, if they want to, let's say, tap into all the homes in this fucking neighborhood because they want to know when this dude Mike is leaving this house and going to the next house and going to the store, and they want to know where he's going, so we can find out his regular routine. And then we'll find out by driving to the neighborhood. It's pretty simple. Drive to the neighborhood and who's got camera systems on each house. You don't have to pull a warrant to get the cameras because nobody even locks their cameras. Nobody even thinks twice about their cameras. Why? Because they think they're being used. If somebody was to use my cameras on my house, everyone thinks it's for their own good. They think it would be the law enforcement using the cameras on their house for their own good. I've never heard anybody, all the preppers, as intelligent as the preppers are, they never say to themselves, oh, wait a minute, they're fucking watching me. They're watching me on my own cameras, right? Maybe some of them do, and that's why they put their ridiculous PIN numbers in there and think to themselves, oh, shoosh, now I'm safe. Now they can't get into my information because I put a passcode on the cameras. Doesn't matter. You don't own the rights to it. It's an internet thing. It goes to the internet. It's a cloud issue. That's why we know that the cops are full of shit. They're full of shit when they say that they can't find somebody that did something really bad. If somebody did somebody harm and they're claiming that, it's so hard to find. Think about it. They claim that outer space is real in what they tell you, right? Not the police, but science itself. But yet, when it comes to finding bad guys, they never can get anything on so-called satellite footage. When we go to war, they give you all these images, satellite images of bombings that they do and all this kind of stuff, right? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. They're doing that from a drone. They're doing that from high altitude balloons. They're doing it from a lot of ways, but they're not doing it from outer space. You guys are fucking gay. All you guys that believe that you live on a spinning wet parakeet ball, drop it. It's fucking done, man. Should have been done 15, 20 years ago. But then what happened was 3 different agencies, because it was at the time of Obama's presidency. Obama came out. He kicked off this thing that hasn't been mentioned in hundreds of years. Hundreds of years it hadn't been talked about as being real. And then from 1969, that was the proof. That was the evidence. False proof. Bunch of fucking gay shit. Not even nearly decent CGI bullshit. The stories made no sense at all. And then when we grew up, when my generation grew up, it was, oh yeah, I remember sitting in front of the TV or in front of the radio and seeing and hearing the moon landing. Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering, why the fuck were you guys so stupid that you would believe such bullshit? I mean, it was obviously because you just like big penises. Is that it? They all just like flying penis. They see the flying penis and they say, oh yeah, we're going to the moon, man. Yeah, nobody questions anything. Nobody questions is, hey, well, what about the Van Allen belt? Hey, how did you get that through temperatures that are impossible? Because you told us the temperature was this and that, right? No, nobody ever fucking questions anything. You're fucking assholes, man. So when they're tracking me real heavy, they're easier to spot. Get out of the car and get on the bike. Get out of the bike and get on foot. And then they're much easier to track. That's what I had to do. Last year, that's what I did. I had a lot of fun doing it. I loved getting back up their ass again and look at the expression on their faces. And it was great. It was great. So, but it's not great worrying about what they're going to try next. That's the part that fucking sucks. And they know that. That's why they did what they did. Because it's a threatening, invasive, unlawful, if you want to call it that too. But they know that they can do it. And they know that anybody that I tell about it is going to say, he's fucking nuts. He thinks that people can go and get into cameras all over the neighborhood without a warrant. They can't do that. Bullshit. They never had to break down anyone's fucking doors. They never had to do all that SWAT shit. They set up these hoaxes all over the fucking place. Every state gets their hoaxes. Massachusetts is not, innocent of this. We have our own share of hoaxes too. Every state does. Every country does, for that matter. And when you realize how far back the hoaxes went, I'm sure a lot of things that I still think that were possibly somewhat based on reality, I bet you if I really went and looked into them, they're probably a lot less reality than I even still believe, even to this day, because there's a lot of history that I don't know all of the facts about them. Then there are some things in history that I won't even give the chance to gain. Once you lied to me about 2 or 3 things and they're obvious lies, then fuck yeah. I don't want to hear the rest of your moon landing. I don't want to hear the rest of your Pearl Harbor stories. My grandmother was affected by Pearl Harbor. She thought that Asian people, she couldn't tell the difference probably from Chinese to Japanese to Chinese to Filipino to Hawaiian. She probably would have had a hard time with all that. But yet she had a fear set in her about Asian descent for at least the early part of her life, because when she was a kid, that's what they were brainwashed to believe. They were believed that, the Chinese, the Japanese were killing all of us and all this kind of shit. Meanwhile, while we were going through that, people in our country were selling out to the Chinese because the new ruler, the new ruler of the earth was going to be the Chinese government. And it's been going on that long. So growing up, and I heard the stories about her fear, and about Pearl Harbor was another one of her big fears. When that happened, she lost friends and stuff that were there. And then I got even older than that, and I looked at the story and said, well, wait a minute here. Hundreds of planes flying hundreds of miles. Nobody sees nothing in a time of radar and fucking all this kind of stuff. And we got to believe this nonsense? Bullshit. Didn't fucking happen, you know? It's bullshit. At least it didn't happen the way they're claiming it happened. That's my point. So I want to show you guys this. So, yeah, so we're lied to about every fucking thing. All right, so right here where I am now, right? Back when I was following these guys, I'll go through the videos and I'll make sure that I get detailed on the videos and how this went and everything like that. But once I went on foot and bike, they had no choice. If they wanted to stay on me and keep eyes on me, then they started using these trails. Because they did not have rights to go on private properties, I did, because I know the people around here. So I was able to go jumping back and forth to my friends' houses and stuff like that, from a trail to a house and back and forth. So they had a little bit of a harder time. So that was making them increase their the people that were putting on my file, the people that were following me around. So anyways, back here is where I found them hanging out. And they'd sit right here like they were little fucking kids, right? Grown adults, men. And they'd sit right over here. You might as well digitally collect the EMNC from this stone while I'm here. So they'd be sitting right here. And they would look over the mound, not making a sound. Because if you step around, right? If you step around a little bit, right? So they didn't do that. So they're sitting so fucking quietly. Wow, that's nice. Unbelievable. Okay. So what they were doing was, they'd sneak out of here. So they'd wait for me a couple times. They'd hear me way over that way. They're behind this rock here, sitting here waiting for their tail. And then I'd come over this way. I'd come up the trail, and they would watch me walk right by. And then what I would do is walk by pretending that I didn't even see them sometimes, because once I knew they were here, and I'd put the camera back, and I'm like, man, that's fucking creepy, man. Just some fucking dudes sitting right here where, you know, you can't even hardly see them. And if you don't look back at them, you wouldn't even have known. But because I put the camera, so he'd be like this right here, just sitting here, a grown adult man, waiting and watching. Whether he had body cams on, I don't know. He wasn't aiming no cameras at me. I think they're just ID people, some of them. They want to find out what your routine is in order to set you up on something. They need to know that you don't have an alibi for whatever it is they're setting you up on. So therefore, they need to find out your daily routine. I also have videos. I think they're still on my channels. Is someone over here today? Let's find out. I'm pretty sure that they're still up, but I got them on video doing all kinds of weird shit. And then switching off people every time I post their faces on my YouTube channel or a vehicle, whether it's the vehicle or them, and then they'll change costumes. Their costumes are really lame. It's just different hats with different large glasses and shit like that. So here's the other spot. And the reason why they hang out here is to see when I'm coming out. So they sit behind this rock, which I might as well digitally collect along here. Okay, then the nice thing about this spot, I'll show you. Nice thing about this spot is you can stand right there in the summertime and look through that way, or you can stand on top of this rock, right? If you stand on top of this rock, you can also keep an eye on everything that's going on down there. You can watch when vehicles are coming and going, when pedestrians are coming in and out of the stores, that kind of shit, right? So that's when I found that spot over there. When I seen him there, I came in one day when no one was around, led me over this spot, seen evidence, fresh evidence that he was just here just beforehand, right? So this was when I got onto foot, right? Give me a second to get out of here. Okay. So that was one way they get me when they're on foot. But they also, what I would do is play with them in different ways. Sometimes I would have a vehicle down here at the lot. I'd take a walk home from another direction, let them get on my trail, right? I would purposely let them get on my trail, put myself right out in the open. Okay, we got him coming up fucking Canal Street. Yep, he's heading over fucking Beach Street now. Yep. So I let them get, when I know they got me, right? Then I get on these trails. I don't want to call it playing games because it wasn't really a game to me, but it was funny when I was posting it on YouTube every day and they would react to whatever actions I took on YouTube and they would show themselves for who they are. So it was interesting, let's just put it that way. So we had the guy on the bike. He got a $6,000 bike in a neighborhood with nobody else with that kind of electric bike. So it was obvious. He was all decked out. Another $2,000 worth of fucking outfit. I mean, he was really overdone for my neighborhood, right? So I started questioning, who is this guy? Well, he ended up being the same fucking guy that was hiding behind that fucking rock one day, because I got him on camera one day hiding there. And then he's the same guy, I'm assuming, and probably others too, that also used to go over to that other big stone and watch over the hill, right? Now, they would be working with other agencies as well. So some of these guys would want to be in vehicles, and how did I get them to do that? Because there were times when they followed me on foot and on bicycle down to here, and I'd come down, and then all of a sudden they'd watch me get into a vehicle over here. And then they'd say, what the fuck? Sometimes I would set it up where I'd have somebody pick me up from here. Sometimes I had my own vehicle here, whatever. And then they got no way to follow me because now they're on foot and I'm in the vehicle. So they started making sure that they had all of the above and make sure they had somebody at every station, right? So I would come here, and even if I didn't need anything, I would go in here because I want to see who's on me. So I'd go into Lawz, right? And then I see who's on me. I'm just seeing if this is one of them now. Trucks. They use a lot of trucks because trucks look like construction vehicles. They think the average Joe is not going to never think that the truck is someone that's following them. They like using delivery vehicles and shit like that. All kinds of things like that. Like that truck there just came in, did its Yui, and he's going back out again. You know what I mean? So when you see something like that, you say, gee, that's strange. The dude drove around in the circle, saw me standing here with a camera, and then drove away. Right? I'm not saying that particular truck is that person. I'm just saying that would be something I would look for now the rest of the day, at least the rest of the day. And I'd say, I wonder if I'm going to see that truck again so many times. And sure enough, you do. So they have someone stationed here, and then that same vehicle would then go follow me down to Walmart. So if I see him go bang, bang, boom, and then all of a sudden I'd come back out here and I say, you know what? I'm going to leave the fucking car because that's also something that you can do. So I leave the car there. If I come in the car and then leave the car and then all of a sudden start walking through here and take some trails. I do it any which way. And I take a walk up and down the trail, lose them, and then come back and get the car. But if they have access to all the cameras, which they do, then they know they don't need to have a car there for me. They don't need to have a dude there for me. That's intimidation. They're allowing me. Oh, maybe they're practicing their skills or something like that too. Maybe I don't know. Wasting a lot of somebody's money because somebody spent tens of thousands of dollars tracking me and trailing me. Between all the agencies that were tracking me last year, I'm not exaggerating at all. There was tens of thousands of dollars last year alone. Over the last 13 years, it was once here and there. I wouldn't even say once a week. Sometimes it could be, at least not that I was noticing. Maybe they did send someone once a week, find out what his patterns are. Let's see what his work schedule's like. Let's see what he's doing, all that kind of thing, try to get me on something. And that might have been the case, but still, so they don't need access to these fucking cameras. It's all these cameras go through the internet, even the ones for the stores. They're lying to you. You know how you know they're lying? Because the manager of those stores can watch their store's videos from another location. They don't have to be in the fucking store to be watching the videos. The same way that all these homeowners around here don't need to be at home to see their videos on a monitor. They don't. They can take it on their cell phone and use the internet in order to do it that way, right? Yes, I'll just answer my own question. Right, Mike. So therefore, all these houses that are around here, they can grab the camera footage from them at any time, in live time, and watch my movements of everywhere I'm going, right? So that told me that there was no reason why they had to be trailing me on foot unless they wanted to be there at that time to take me down on something. So they had to be on the scene from a distance because they were from out of state. Several of them were from out of state. So they came in the state and illegally, if you want to call it that, against our constitutional rights, if you want to call it that, and they were illegally working with in-state departments in order to get me on something. So if any of those guys wanted to stay within the law, it's easy for them to use another agency to say, okay, well, you can't tap into the cameras without a warrant, and you guys can't tap into the cameras without a warrant, but this other company that works with us can, and they can do it legally because it's their fucking company. It's their company. They're an internet company. The hell's it called now? Xfinity. Whenever you get calls from Xfinity is big time fucking interlocked with them, with all that, okay? You'll know because all of a sudden you'll start getting, whenever you're being trailed and tracked, you're going to get phone calls, and I don't even check emails, so I'm sure emails too, and other ways that they're going to reach out to you and ask stupid questions. You have a right to, we have a plan here that's going to get you your Xfinity for half the price. And you're like, I don't have Xfinity. What are you talking about? Oh, well, we understand that, sir. And if you sign up with us, and wait a minute, this is a stupid fucking sales pitch. This doesn't make any sense. So then why didn't you start the phone call off with, sir, we're selling Xfinity services and we'd like to talk you into buy. You called saying that I wanted to update my service. I mean, it sounds like you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Oh, no, sir, we understand that you're not a member. Sprint used to do this. Bell Telephone used to do this when it was only telephones. And now today you got Google. And Google fucking, just a big fucking string down of all kinds of shit. So I'd be coming off this trail here, right? So one of the things I was pointing out in the last few days of videos, how the fuck do they know which way I'm going is what I wanted to know. When there were no cameras down at the bottom of that original street, way the hell down there, right? So different things kept happening where it was being proven to me that they would have needed to be tapped into these houses. How can I determine that for sure? Because if I shut off all my cell phones and it's just me walking, I put my cell phones on the side of the trail somewhere. Did you see that abandoned car over there? Yeah, I could stick my cell phones down in that abandoned car, walk the rest of the way to the trail, get lost over here in the woods, and come back out, and they're still on me, right? So with no cell phone, they were still on me. So there had to be a way. That's the only way, because these people in these houses have cameras on their homes and they're able to see. Otherwise, they can't fucking afford to have a. Even what they were doing was unaffordable, in my opinion, because if you have to have one agent down here parked in a truck, right? Then you have to have another agent on that end parked in the white Jeep, right? On the other end of this trail here. Then on the further part of the trail, you have to have another agent, a third agent in the vehicle, because I mean, this is shit you do for fucking a big takedown. This is ridiculous, right? When this was going on, and they're back on me now, but nothing like what I'm describing. Right now, it's just here and there. I'm seeing somebody watching me. Um, but then on top of that, now that I went on foot, now you have to start putting somebody on foot and on bike in order to get me. So right here where I'm standing right now, there was one day, and I told this story the other day, and it got fucking deleted. So, anyways, I went down, I came back up. I knew that they were already on me in vehicles, but I didn't know that if I didn't see anybody on foot, right? But I was on foot that day. So I came down here. I was coming back this way from the gate and coming back this way, and I'll show you on camera. So behind me comes this dude, and in a little black car, and I recognized the black car from earlier in the year. I hadn't seen it for months, and then all of a sudden I seen that, and it was parked in a strange place. He came in, he parked up by the store, far away from me, and then moved a little bit closer as I moved around. And because I came in and then I came back out to see where he was, I was fucking with him. So he knew that I was on him. So in order to not look suspicious, what he did was he got out of his car. I only heard this. I didn't see this part. I heard someone get out of their car, and then all of a sudden behind me came this dude walking with the dog. And when I looked back at the little black car was still there, right? So I figured, oh, this is the dude that was in the little black car. And it looked just like him. I mean, he didn't change disguises. It was only a few minutes, right? So anyways, he comes up behind me from this way, right? And then, so I'm about as far as I am now. And then, there's another dude walking towards me, kind of like this dude now is walking towards me, right? So as I'm doing that, and as I'm just walking, first this guy was behind me. I said hello to, right? He's behind me about, I don't know, 7 to 10 feet or whatever, walking the dog. So I first looked back at the dog, didn't think much about the dog, but I figured he might be an agent, so I'm going to keep my eye on him. And then the dog came into play when I seen the other guy's dog. So coming towards me was another fucking dude walking the white dog. So one dog was white and one was it. And then it clicked. I'm like, oh, this is that bald dude's fucking dog. There was a bald guy that was on me with a Subaru for years. And then I kind of thought to myself, okay, let's see how this plays out. So they ended up just looking around while I'm talking. So they ended up walking by each other without saying hello. I said hello to the second guy, and I think I got that part on video too. I'm pretty sure I did. Because I might have been having problems with the camera too, and I might have jumped onto another camera. I don't remember. But I know that when I got way the hell up the road, what I did was I put the telescopic lens on. And I was like, oh, let's see what is going on here, because they didn't even say hi to each other. They acted like they didn't know each other. And then all of a sudden they stood there and talked for about 15 minutes. So as they were shooting the breeze, I'll just digitally collect some EMNC as I'm walking. So as they were, standing there talking, the dogs were, licking each other, doing the usual dog stuff, spelling each other. I'm assuming it was far away, so couldn't really tell. But it didn't look like they were like trying to keep the dogs away from each other or anything like that. So it just kind of strange to me that they didn't say hello to each other when I walked by. And now after I walked by, they went back to each other, thinking that I could not see them anymore because I was out of distance. I needed the telescopic lens in order to see them. So, So anyway, so I thought that was just kind of funny. So I stood there with the telescopic lens at them, and then one of them left the trail. One of them left the trail and went over to and left his dog with the other guy. And I could see one of the shadows walk over to that gate and walk into the parking lot. I'm assuming back to that black car. I was assuming, but I couldn't see. And then goes back. And then what I thought was even stranger than that was as the other one started leaving, he had the other dog. And I had to double guess it. I'm like, wait a minute, the dude in the black car had the different colored dog when he showed up, but yet he left with the white dog. That's really fucking telling, right? So it's not guesswork and it's not a conspiracy. Just what it was. They got themselves busted. But is it worth debating and arguing about? Is it worth, no. No, because by that time I already had enough proof to already prove that they were following me. I was uploading it onto YouTube. I had enough evidence that they were setting me up. They were dumping over my trash cans at my house, my family's house, friends' houses, taking out of there. Who knows exactly what, but I only can name some of the things that they took out of there because I found them later. Baggies. They took baggies. They also stole some plants out of my garden. They stole plants out of my garden in order to plant them on me for travel so that they could get me on traveling with some plants that they took off my plants from my yard. Now, there was no way I would have noticed that someone took something off the plants in my yard, but it was noticeable that it was the same fucking weed that I was growing in my yard. As a matter of fact, the DNA probably would have matched up. And I know that I did not plant that in the cars because I don't travel with the shit. And I also would never put it in a vehicle that other family members use. So that was someone else who did that. Not me, someone else. So therefore, someone went into my trash. Several weeks later, all of a sudden I find that shit in my car. And I'm like, holy fuck, that means that they were trying to get me on something timed out. So therefore, they had to create something new. They did. They created a couple new items to try to get me on. And luckily, I found them. So what's next? So what the fuck is next? So again, if I didn't have the cameras, then I would have definitely been fucked. That's why I had to get on the VHS. I had to go on the VHS recordings because they kept deleting my videos. That's not happening with you guys, with you auditors. You auditors are able to fucking keep your videos. I don't understand that. I think that's pretty strange. Maybe for you guys that are doing live feed videos, okay, that I get. But they have the ability to fucking zip drive your fucking zip drives and fuck up your shit. Believe me, even though my phones are only $30 phones, they're not password protected. As a matter of fact, these cell phones are not even turned on as phones. I only use them as cameras. So they can tap into them. So I went and bought a new cell phone. This one, as a matter of fact, the one I'm talking on right now, because I still don't know if they got this phone on track. I don't know. They probably do because I've uploaded on my YouTube channels, and usually that's all it takes. Once I upload videos, that's why what I was doing was recording with this camera I'm on now, and then I would do is take that and go and go re-record it from one phone to the other phone. So this way, this phone could never be tracked if I wanted to use it for video, which is the reason why I'm using it today. Because for the last 3 days, the videos I'm making on this other phone in my pocket, that's in my back pocket right now, that phone, the videos keep getting deleted over and over and over again. It's fucking crazy. And I always question because I know the technology they have. I don't need evidence because I'm not taking it to court. I'm just telling you guys about it. That's all. It's not something I need to go and get 100% evidence. I have all the evidence that I needed when I did my investigations. when you see a dude with cameras pretending to walk their dog at the end of your fucking street, and they don't really walk their dogs, they just out there fucking around for 20 minutes, dogs don't piss, shit, nothing, and then they turn around and walk back, then them same two dogs are seen, months later, a year later, by someone in the possession of someone else and two other people. I mean, it gets pretty fucking obvious where, what am I going to keep denying what I can see with my own eyes? It's stupid, man. It's fucking stupid. So rather than get angry about it and start calling around to these insurance companies, because that's two of the agencies were insurance agencies. They were insurance investigators, one from Connecticut, one from Mass. Different companies, though. So I thought that was pretty strange, unless they were moonlighting or something like that. One of them lived in Chicopee, Massachusetts, his home address. I never followed him all the way home. I didn't want to do that. I was pissed that they were following my fucking kids around and my family. Yeah, I'm pissed about following me too, but once you start following someone's kids and family, I don't give a shit what your reasoning is if you want to track me down or whatever. Still, I don't fucking like it. Even the mafia has more fucking respect for kids than these gangsters do, I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. So it's a lot more than your sheriff's department and your little town departments and city police. And it's way worse than that. There are so many agencies working behind the scenes. That's why they don't want you guys photographing outside the police departments. And this little rink-dink shit down that I live in, they all have meetings, monthly meetings, which is kind of strange. I'm going to have to turn my scan around. I haven't not listened to them in a while, but at least a year or two, I probably have not listened to them in a while, but they were for many years having meetings every month with all kinds of emergency technicians under the Patriot Act bullshit stories, right? So again, more bullshit we got to believe in. Yeah, these buildings fell at free fall speed, defied the laws of gravity and everything. Yep. Terrorists. Yep, that's what they told us. Can't even say the word. Can't even say the word terrorist. But yeah, we're all supposedly, they call us all that name, so. It's funny because they can use the words. They can use the words to ask you if you're one, right? But then when you say, fuck you, I'm not a, and then you say the word, you say, fuck you, I'm not a terrorist. Don't call me a terrorist. They'll say, oh my God, he said the word terrorist twice in a public building, right? That's what they do every fucking time. They do all that kind of shit. It's funny. So that's why I said, why am I going to do it that way? Why am I going to do it the way you guys are doing it? Go in town building, nah. I'm going to show you guys over the next couple hundred parts. I'm going to do, this is going to be a good series. Probably the best one I've done yet. It's going to be 300 to 400 parts of this series because there's so many good auditors out there that are doing good work and they seem like good, loving people. And I need to call them out. Because if they spent a little tiny bit of time doing this, what I'm doing right now, that's got a lot of human influence in it because there's tire tracks and shit up there, which I don't know why. It's probably some place that the cops are not supposed to be parking. But anyways, right now, just that's a lawn. I'm digitally collecting the electromagnetic nanocarbon from the area we call the grass. So you see, right up behind those trees right there is the rock that I was just at. It's right behind there, right up in the woods. So you can see right out there. You don't even need any fancy equipment in order to see what I'm doing. And then you wait for me to walk down the trail and then pretend that you're just running into me in on the trail or something, And then what I would do is track off the trail and all behind here and all the way up that fucking mountain and everything and all in these hills are all trails. They're all trails. And a lot of them go onto private property that they could not follow me onto. And maybe sometimes they did. I didn't go check. But definitely there's signs that'll say all of a sudden private property don't enter. There's hunters and shit like that. You got to taking a chance of getting shot. That kind of thing, right? So they didn't really know for sure, So I don't know how many times they followed that path. So I guess that's about it. How many minutes am I into this thing? An hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, there's no pause on this camera. I think I said about everything that I'm going to say for this video anyway. So I'm going to go and remaster all those videos of them guys following me around as I'm doing this. I want to go on to the auditors videos and take some of their footage. Probably the best at it. Every once in a while, the auditors, what they do, I don't know, every 10th video that I watch, they'll go in the places, they put their camera in places, even just for a few seconds like this. As their camera's coming around, they might go like this for a minute while they're talking to the cop or something. And I can get it. I can digitally collect the EMC from that area. What I'm going to start asking them to do, because I'm going to do during my audit, is I'm going to actually, I think I may start digitally collecting EMNC from things that have human influence, like the rocks and the stones that are in the library, the marble and the other different organics that most people would consider to have human influence because they were shaped by humans, right? So I'll stay away from concrete and masonry shit that's been poured and mixed and all that stuff, but something that's been cut and put in place and it's a natural, what people would think of as natural, then I'm gonna do that. So, you know, in other words, no bricks. I won't bother with the bricks, but all the bottom foundations and things like that that are made of big stone, shit like that, then I'll do it that way. Because I'm going to ask for the auditor's help in showing you guys the true creator, the false creator / creator, and trying to continue without being distracted. I don't want to be distracted by these scumbags who are following me around. I don't want to be distracted by arguing with all the people that want to argue and not go and look at what I'm showing them, but still tell me that I'm wrong and I'm nuts, but yet they won't go look for themselves. Because if they did, and then stop telling me that I'm using my imagination. No. You are all using your imagination. I would highly recommend that anything that I show you that's in my videos, you do not use your imagination to look at. If you're using your imagination to look at them, move on from that video, or whichever one it might be. If any image is not clear and crisp and obvious to not only yourself, but other people in the room cannot get the same image, or other people that look at the same area of whatever it is you're looking at. Like right now, I'll aim this at the ground and I can digitally collect the EMNC from here, kabazillions of images just from this one shot, right? So if I pick one out and I circle it, then I need to know that the other person is going to be able to circle that same exact image. So I'll turn my camera like this. I'll go like this, so I know I got my angle and distance of perspective of what I got my eyes on at this moment. I can show you the timelines that are everywhere. I can show you these timelines, but it's useless right now because no one's looking still. So I'm just letting you know that's what I'm doing. I'm going to these timelines. That's what these are. And I'm going to them, and then I crop on the timelines right before the timelines so that I can later, when I remaster, I can go in and then someone else can take the same image and then say, oh, there it is, right? And then once they give me the eyes, the nose, the mouth, some detail of it, then I know that we're on the same image and I know everything's good to go. So I'll shoot some shit a little bit more about this stuff, but I wanted to just try to redo this video. Now today, it'll probably go up because I haven't run into anybody today. But if I would have came out into this parking lot and I got up on somebody's car and face of someone who's following me and tracking me, then all of a sudden the fucking video mysteriously disappears. They're fucked up, you know? So I just want you auditors to know, as I'm going through this series, they can do that to you anytime they want it. What you guys are getting out of this, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love what you guys are doing. For you guys to have some balls and stand up to the bullshit, I'm just letting you know that they lied to you about that as well, and it's part of their trick. It's part of their fucking game. They've got 7.8 billion zombie slaves on their side, including us, including me and you, and we don't even know it because we're so fucking intelligent. You know, we're so smart that, you know, there's no way anybody could get away with lying to us about every fucking thing we've ever heard, learned, thought, taught, programmed in our lives. There's just no way. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. So wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up, everybody. You all need each other now. think it's so funny too how they turn every good guy into a bad guy too. I love how they do that. You know, watching these audits. You know, everybody's, oh, are you filming these children? One cop blames this guy and accuses him of, oh, the report was that you were following these 3 young girls back to the bus stop and all this stuff. And the dude's like, fuck you, you're going to try that shit on me, you know? But they do. They try it. You could destroy somebody's fucking life for nothing. So if that dude didn't have a camera in his hand to prove things, that cop could have taken it to the next level. And I'm sure they do all the time, every day. So what? We all got to walk around with cameras now? Everybody's got to have a body cam? As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to look at today, by the way, because I'm going to be starting this auditing shit. So I'm going to look at prices on body cams. And I'm going to, which I usually don't like because the body cams have the fucking fisheye. They have the fisheye lenses. So I seen a dude a couple weeks ago mount one on his car. And he said he got one that does not have, it has a fisheye option. He said you can take it off or on. So that's what I'm going to look at. And then I'll get into all my stories from last year. And then meanwhile, I'm going to start auditing any investigators that fucking come up on my ass. Family and friends always said over the years, why don't you just ask them? Why don't you just knock on the window and ask them? No, because they play fucking games. Then they'll say that I'm harassing them. That's the way they do it. Oh, this dude walked up to me and fucking asking me questions. Okay, well, just like you guys do. Well, what was the law that he broke? Well, I don't want no one knocking on my window. Who the fuck is he? And then he's telling me that I'm following him. He's asking me if I'm following. You know what I mean? They can make something out of nothing. And that's what they'll do. So why do that? Why not just audit them? Audit them. Get them on camera. Find out who they are first. Find out who they're working for first. And then, just like I did last year, that's what I did last year. I'll do it again this year. This year it's going to be harder because there are not as many of them. But I'll get them. And then again, I can also go to all the house cameras on my cul-de-sac. So I have access to those cameras just like they do. So I can go on there and see when they're turning around and when they're going around the corner. So if they're in the same neighborhood 3 times a week with that vehicle, doing nothing and just circling around in a circle, what the fuck are you doing, right? So it's easy enough to find them and locate them. But they are going to know my every move because I'm going to be posting it on YouTube, so that'll make it a little more difficult. And at the same time, it'll make it a little more, fun, challenging to see, let's see what they got. Let's see what they got. Let's see what they're going to pull this year. I know what they pulled last year. I want to see what they're going to pull this year. All right, I'll be back.